and you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
People say lightning doesn't strike twice, or think it won't strike them. For some, that may be true, yet still we all jump when the thunder claps. People say you have to want it. No, you need to take it, because by the time you think you want it here, it's already gone.
Contact, there he goes! Thomas Aaron wins the ATX Grand Prix.
I know you're thinking, man, this is just a game. It's just another Wednesday night. It's just a simulation. You hit the wall and hit the reset button.
They're banging off each other now. There goes Bo Condon around.
Well, tell that to the drivers, the sponsors, the fans, all the hours in the seat, moving the needle 1/8 of an inch to find 500 miles of perfection, just to 4X, crack your wrist, spin out virtual gravel, and get back out there time and time again.
It is going to be Ryan Truex winning here in Atlanta. Seth Gadjadoris takes the race lead. Coming through the tri-oval, Sunk slots in behind him. Seth Gadjadoris wins here at Talladega.
Your winner at Sin City, Greg Vial.
Oh no, this isn't a game. This is ThunderClap. thunder strikes now.
It has been 16 incredibly tough weeks, and now 16 incredibly tough drivers will take on the next 10 weeks in this championship to determine who will be crowned the Season 2 champion for the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Alongside me, as always, Tony Trapasso. Tony, this was the second race and the second to last race of the season for as long as I could remember growing up. Now we're back here. It is the first race of the playoffs here, Rockingham Speedway, Rockingham, North Carolina. It is going to be an amazing show here tonight.
It absolutely is, Frank. And, this track for the last 10 or so, almost 20 years now, has been very underutilized. And it's so good to see a series coming back to this place, especially in the iRacing servers, because, really, this is the only place where you're actually going to see it used on at least a semi-regular basis, is here in the servers, in the virtual world. And it's presenting its own a batch of challenges to these drivers here tonight. This track is incredibly slick right now due to the temperature, and it's incredibly bumpy due to the little usage that it has gotten over the years. There's a lot of bumps. You're not able to really get a handle on this track. We were talking to a couple of drivers before we went live. It's like you're in a four-wheel drift the entire way around.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be quite a night here at Rockingham. We'll take a look now at the point standings here coming into tonight's race. The championship 16, the top 16 positions. I think we might have been wrong on a couple of guys at the end of Richmond, but again, that's us doing our bad math. Ryan Truex, Roger DeBold, Jake Waltman, Thomas Aaron, Mark McCrary, Greg Vielle, both Stephen and James Sharik, both Cole and Seth Gadjadoris, Ryan Zunk, Dustin Stallings, Greg McConey, Robert Walton, Scott Formosa, and J.D. Woodward will be the 16 drivers that are going to be running for the crown. And right now, Bobby Grant, who is here tonight, missing out on the playoffs after missing last week at Richmond, he right now is number one as far as best of the rest.
He is at that. Now, here's the other thing to consider, too. You were talking about the overall points. If you take a look at the Truck Series points, he's actually listed as sixth.
Yes, the Truck Series points. Now, again, it's probably worth noting, something that we should have mentioned earlier on as we take a look at the Truck Series points right now. The truck points, the individual series points did not get reset. It was just the overall points that got reset as far as the championship is concerned. Just two more races left after tonight to see who will be crowned the Truck Series champion. And right now, Ryan Truex currently holds the top of the pile.
He does at that. As I'm looking at, it's 14 points to the good over Mark McCrary. Seth Gadjadoris only 8 markers back from there. Cole Gadjadoris Cole Gadjadoris and Roger DeBold back from there. Ryan Zunk, Bobby Grant, Chase Leahy, Jake Waltman, Stephen Sharik, and Dustin Stallings actually tied for 9th right now. So, throw a blanket over your top 10 there's only 74 points separating first from the tie for 9th.
But you see high above this racetrack here, just shy of a mile long, 0.97 miles. So it is going to be a tight little racetrack here, but especially coming off of turn 2. We saw it in real life. A lot of guys had issues coming off of turn 2 here in the real world. It's only going to be exacerbated here in the sim.
It is at that, and part of that has to do with the weather here tonight at the Rock. Track temperature right now is 130 degrees at the end of practice, and it's going to be incredibly difficult, especially on older tires, if we get a long green flag run, these guys are going to be begging for fresh shoes because, the track temperature in the high triple digits from what we normally see. This is probably one of the hottest track conditions we've actually seen this season so far, and that is not going to play into the long run in a favorable way.
Absolutely not. There you see the 38, the regular season champion. That is Roger DeBold, coming through turns 3 and 4 right now. And again, you see just how bumpy this racetrack is. The last time the NASCAR Cup Series was here was back in 2004. The most recent NASCAR series to run here at Rockingham was these Truck Series. They ran 2 races here back in 2012 and 2013. So almost a decade since real-world NASCAR has seen any sort of activity here at Rockingham. But if you believe some of the rumors, might be on a return.
And I would love to see that, because I'm looking through the win list here at this track, and it's a who's who of NASCAR Hall of Famers. Curtis Turner, Paul Goldsmith, Freddie Lorenz, Richard Petty, a lot on this list. Bobby and Donnie Allison both on there. David Pearson, Leroy and Cale Yarbrough. You just go through the NASCAR Hall of Fame and just pick out any driver that's on that list. I guarantee you they have a win here.
Roger DeBold back to the top in qualifying. First lap down for Jake Waltman. Second position, Chuck Chambly. We were showing him in that all-out towing number 8 up to third for a moment before James Sharik bumped him off. In fourth, Thomas Aaron crossing the line into down in second in that number 93.
Waltman has found something, though. Wow, Waltman has found something.
Big time for Waltman, finishing off on pole. Tony, check your broadcast settings, please. As Aaron crossing the line, he will jump to Bold, so he will go up to second. Mark McCrary will be the next one to cross the line. And McCrary will go from 13th on his first lap. Actually betters his time, but not his position. Here comes Robert Walton crossing the line now, and Walton will stay P13 as Daniel Silvestri goes to the point. A 24:20 for that Sweet Tarts number 97.
Actually, he's the first one to go sub 24.2. That was actually a 24:19.8. So that's hauling the mail right there.
Reed Foley making his first back-to-back appearance of the season in the number 1. Just 3 drivers on track right now. Reed Foley, J.D. Woodward, Ryan Zunk on track at the moment. As we get our overlay back here, hopefully. Foley just starting his first lap. J.D. Woodward on his first. Zunk crossing the line now to start his first. Justin Clapper jumping out on track as well. Boy, a big slide out of turn 4 for Reed Foley. Catches the wall. Stop before the line. No, he won't. J.D. Woodward, however, will cross the line. And Woodward up to 8th on his first attempt. Ryan Zunk crossing the line. He will go to 14th. Justin Clapper, the next one to cross the line to complete his first time around. J.D. Woodward will shortly follow. Woodward goes up to 5th. Clapper to 16th on his first lap. Ryan Zunk, one of the championship 16, will go up to 9th. On his second lap, Greg McConey now about to begin his first timed lap. There we go. Once the names are scrolling, then I know the overlay is fine. Drivers highlighted in gold up on the ticker at the top are the 16 drivers who are eligible for the championship. Everyone not highlighted in gold racing to play spoiler as McConey goes 19th quickest on his first lap, and he'll go sliding out of turn 2 on his second. Vince Burns, Seth Gagiodoris, Tyler Truex, and Matt Garrett have not attempted to set times. Greg Vial has attempted to set a time, but failed on both attempts to put in a clean lap. So he and Seth Gagiodoris, at least for the moment, the only two playoff drivers that are in attendance here tonight that have not put down a qualifying time. And, Tony, it's really nice to be at a racetrack that doesn't get a lot of play here on the sim. And again, that's part of the reason why we went and did the Super Late Model AI series. And it is a lot of fun to be able to go to some different places every now and again, see a lot of great competitive action here at a racetrack that is almost forgotten as far as recent NASCAR memory.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, there's so many fans of stock car racing right now that have never gotten to experience a race here at the Rock. And they call this place actually has 3 tracks on the grounds. There's the Rock where we're at right now. Outside of the backstretch, there's what they call Little Rock, which is a half mile. And then on the other side of turn 1, on the other side of the road behind turn 1, they have what they call the House of Hook, known as Rockingham Dragway. And, I've had the honor of that being one of my first events as a tire specialist on a pro modified drag racing team. And I mean, this entire facility is awe-inspiring. Not just the history behind it, but the scenery around here. That's probably one of the reasons why Rockingham hasn't gotten a lot of love as of recent, because unfortunately, the nearest hotel is 35 minutes away.
So it does create quite a challenge for accessibility as we see Vince Burns rolling out with 2.5 minutes to go. Just 3 drivers now. Seth Gagiodoris, Tyler Truex, and Matt Garrett are the only 3 that have not attempted a time. As first lap for Vince Burns, looking quite tame here, just trying to get a banker lap in, it would look like.
Which is the right thing to do. You give yourself a lap that you're not really overdriving the truck. You just want to get the heat into the tires, get them up to operating temperature, so that whatever little grip they're going to give you with such a hot racing surface, you're maximizing your chance on your second lap.
See what he does here on lap number 1. It is the slowest of the 24 drivers now that have taken time. 26:35, slowest by far. Picking it up a little bit here, though, on this lap is Vince Burns in that 55, and that's one of the characteristics we're going to see about this racetrack. If you remember, in real life, turn 3 and 4 up to 10th. Up to 22nd, pardon me. The bottom lied to me there. 22nd spot for Vince Burns, a 25:34 is the time for the number 55. But the outside line, especially in 3 and 4, had a lot of play, and you were able to see those last-second either defenses or those last-second passes to try to get race wins here. Be interesting to see how these guys translate that pass knowledge over into here.
Well, the thing to keep in mind is 3 and 4 is actually the tunnel turn here. You can kind of see it there as Burns flies by it on his left side. With that tunnel, the bump isn't on the top shelf like you would expect. It's negligible up there. Where the bump really is on that low side where you're trying to lay the power down. It's very easy to have the rear end break loose as you're trying to lay the power back in. And you can see just how unsettled that truck is coming out of 4 there. You don't feel that on the top shelf.
That thing bottoming out and hopping around, and you'll see that all night long and especially as the tires get more worn, the entry to turn 1 will start to become a lot more entertaining. But as we now work into the warm-up session, we'll do as we always do. We'll send it out to Terry Adams for tonight's national anthem. Thank you very much to Terry Adams for the national anthem, as he provides for us every single week here on the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing series. And Tony, first race, the round of 16, one race in each level of car. Next week we're going to be in the Xfinity cars at Road America, so that adds another level of difficulty to this playoff scenario. But here tonight at Rockingham, this is quite a litmus test here to see, going through the rest of the playoffs, who is a serious contender and who may be who may be really fighting to try to get into that round of 12.
Right, and you know, the thing is, this track not getting a lot of use. A lot of these guys, this is their first time seeing this. You know, we did the interviews last week at post-race. I think only one of the guys already owned the track. The rest of them had to buy it in this past week through the iRacing servers. And, you know, that really is going to play a factor. You know, the guys that have some experience here in other leagues that, you know, it's few and far between of places that use this place. But those that have run with leagues that have run here, and I've been in 2 leagues that I've had the privilege of driving in the iRacing server here at this facility, both on the oval and the road course. You know, I can tell you right now, this is one of the most fun tracks iRacing has. It races so much bigger than this track really is.
Absolutely. A part of that is going to be to try to keep the tires on this thing. This was one of the big keys to this race. Every time we would come here, again, it was the second race. It was right after Daytona, and then it was before Homestead, or it's right before the final race of the season, wherever it was.
Atlanta, usually.
Yep, Atlanta. So that was one of the big keys, was trying to keep the tires on this thing, and the right front is going to take a big punishing here all night long.
It absolutely is, and it's so easy to overdrive the corners here. And, you know, the driver we were talking to before we went on the air said, well, how can that be? I really backed my corners up and I gained 2 seconds. Well, that's because you're not punishing your tires.
Drive it like a road course. Slow
exactly.
Is definitely the faster way around here if you want to keep it on the bottom, especially down in turns 1 and 2. And again, as we saw in real life, yes, being down on the bottom in 3 and 4 is certainly a better way to go about it, but it's better to drift up in the middle of 3 and 4 than it is to down in 1 and 2 because of, as you had mentioned during qualifying, the tunnel.
Yeah, very much so. And you know, that tunnel, again, it doesn't affect the upper lane as much as it does the lower lane. So if you're in a too wide situation going through turns 3 and 4, whoever's on the outside is going to have the advantage, not only from a momentum standpoint, but from a standpoint of being able to lay the power in more aggressively than the person that's on the bottom side, because you hit that bump, you're going around quickly.
Absolutely. It is going to be quite the entertaining night here tonight from the Rockingham Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina. As the guys get set and start jumping onto the grid, we will take a look at the grid here for tonight's race. The first race in the round of 16, Daniel Silvestri takes the pole with a time of 24.199. Jake Waltman will jump on the front row with him. Thomas Aaron and Roger DeBold will make up row 2. J.D. Woodward and James Sharik find themselves in row number 3. Row 4 goes to Chuck Chambly and Steven Sharik. Row 5 will see Ryan Zunk and Anthony Burleson. Scott Formosa and Cole Gadgedoris make up row 6, with the top half of the field being rounded out in row 7. That would be Chase Leahy, and starting in 14th in the number 14, Bobby Grant.
Chief Cook and Bottle Washer of the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series, Justin Clapper, is going to be joined in row number 8 with Robert Walton. Mark McCrary and David Hall going to roll it off in row number 9. Row 10 is going to see Stephen Lachinsky and Greg McConey. Vince Burns and Bill Condon in row number 11. Row 12 is going to go to Reed Foley and Dustin Stallings, with Tyler Truex, Matt Garrett in row number 13. With row 14, starting shotgun on the field, Greg Vial and Seth Gadgedoris. So 28 trucks scheduled to roll it here tonight. 4 sets of tires to get them through the entirety of the event. And, Frank, that track temperature still in the triple digits here. That's going to be sketchy at the start on cold tires.
Yep, absolutely. Taking a look at the weather. Not a lot of wind blowing directly to the north. What is 76-degree ambient temperature, 123-degree track temperature as we get set to go tonight. Tony, it's playoff time.
It absolutely is, and as the field works its way into the 3-4 complex behind the Chevy Silverado pace truck, the only thing that's left for me to say is, it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some barbecue, because it's time to get it on in North Carolina. Race fans, it's show time.
How long the pace car took to duck off. I thought we were going another lap, as here we go, 150 laps. Here from the Rockingham Speedway, right down to the bottom immediately. Daniel Silvestri, Jake Waltman covers off in second. Thomas Aaron, Roger DeBold third. Vince Burns has gone around in the 55. Caution
that didn't
is
take long.
Out.
That didn't take long at all.
No, it did not, unfortunately, for the Sacramento, California native.
I'm thinking he might have had some help.
I think that might be a safe bet, as we'll take a look and see what happened with Vince Burns. On the outside for the start. Oh, the 5 got into the 25.
Oh my.
The 5 got into the 25 on that start, sent them both spinning, sent them checking up.
Dustin Stallings just went headlong into the turn 2 wall, and that was, oh my goodness.
See this from Matt Garrett. Nowhere to go. Right on board now with the 5 of Dustin Stallings, sitting over his right shoulder. Boy, that inside line checked up big, and Stallings had nowhere to go.
Yeah, not sure exactly what that checkup was all about, though. Oh, I see what it is. Clapper was trying to stay off of somebody.
We'll go back and take a look at it here again.
Yeah, Clapper was trying to stay off the 34 going into the corner. Actually, I take that back. The 88 of McCrary was trying to stay off of Clapper, who had checked up for the 34, which checked up McConey, which checked up Condon, which checked up the 5. of stallings, and boom goes the dynamite.
Looked pretty clear from our vantage point, at least from the overhead, but it's one of those things that'll certainly happen around here as we get down into turn 1 for the first caution of the night. Falls upon us here. Again, 150 laps here from Rockingham Speedway, formerly known as North Carolina Speedway, actually. As we are getting set now to go green.
It was. Originally opened back in 1965.
Quite a time ago.
And it didn't become high banked like it is right now until 1997. It was a pretty flat track when it first opened.
All right, so we got the practice start out of the way.
Yep.
Lost a couple of laps in the process. But now coming out of turn 4, Daniel Silvestri and Jake Waltman will lead them down once again in the same order. Off goes Silvestri, and we are back to green flag racing.
Silvestri held those guys pretty long time, too, as we've got side by side for third between Aaron and DeBold. Aaron on the low side, DeBold on the top shelf as they come through 1. So far, give it to Aaron, is field getting pretty single filed out here early.
Roger DeBold slotting into that number 4 spot. The highest driver who is not Daniel Silvestri currently running in the field that is not in the playoffs is that number 8 of Chuck Chambly, currently running in 5th. You can see up on the top of your screen there, the drivers that are highlighted in gold are drivers that are running for the championship that are in the playoffs. There's Cole Gadjadouris getting around Anthony Burleson in the 79. Now Scott Formoso looking to the inside of Ryan Zunk now for 9th.
A little bit further back, Mark McCrary, David Hull, and Bo Connon have been going after each other for the last handful of laps as McCrary continues to climb through the field. Your biggest mover, though, right now is the one of Reed Foley. He is up 6, sitting back in 18th.
Riding on board with Condon, you can really tell by this onboard just how bumpy this racetrack is and just how physical a race this is going to be for some of these guys.
Lead.
So we'll jump to that battle for the lead as Jake Waltman now under Daniel Silvestri. Boy, we're 2 by 2 up here at the front.
Silvestri, Waltman, and Aaron have all been just hammering on each other as throw a blanket over your top 5 right now as a little bit of breathing room back to Steven Sharik in 6th. And just as I say that, they start to reel these guys back in. That's Sharik and Woodward both starting to gain.
Again, we talked about it so much at Richmond coming out of turn 2. That backstretch wall really comes up on you quick. Same thing here as Waltman almost found out coming through turn 2 there. Waltman will regain his 2nd position. Thomas Aaron now still in a battle with Roger DeBold. This time it's DeBold on the inside, and the 38 will take the spot for now.
And just as you say that, Aaron drives back on the top shelf as now battle for 3rd through 8th is just a slugfest right now. Make that 3rd through 9th, actually.
It is quite close as Thomas Aaron right now leading that group. Roger DeBold in the 38 running in 4th. Chuck Chambly in the 5, slotting himself in 5th. It's again just a close race in here. You don't want to go up too early. Run those tires off, especially with only 3 tires on the wall. You have to make each set of these tires effectively last 50 laps.
You absolutely do. And, I honestly don't think we're going to see guys go all the way to the stage. See, that's the thing. With the stage break happening at 35 and 70, I would almost not take tires during the first stage, or during the first stage break, and try to see what this thing is going to really do on old, worn-out shoes. That way I've got to set laying if there's a late race caution, as we have seen quite a few times this season, inside 10 to go, we get that caution, and whoever has a set of tires can usually drive back to the front.
Stage brakes are going to be at laps 35 and 70 here tonight, as Jake Waltman currently finds himself sitting in that second position. Close battling up here at the very front.
And Waltman is pushing Silvestri right now. He's not trying to pass him. He's just trying to push him along to try to get some distance between themselves and Thomas Aaron, as J.D. Woodward and Chuck Chambly going door to door for fifth.
Woodward's been trying to get around Chambly for quite some time here, as Steven Sharik trying to find a way around Scott Formosa. It's the 83 of Sharik, Formosa in the 8.
Formosa on the top shelf trying to make something happen up there. And you can see what a better run he gets through 3 and 4, being a lane up on Sharik, as now Sharik is falling back into the clutches of his brother James.
It's quite interesting to see how good the run that these guys can get up here at the front. As Silvestri still showing the way here for the moment. James Sharik following Steven Sharik on through. Scott Formosa leading that group at the moment. That's Cole Gadgedoris in the 89 that's right there as well.
He is at that, as not having the easiest time in the practice sessions, but seems to have gotten it figured out now, as James Sharik really went to the top shelf coming through 1 and 2. That let Gadgedoris get right to his tailgate.
Absolutely did, as that 83 trying to find a way around that outside of Scott Formosa. And getting down into turn 1 here, you're going to really need to get on the brakes. It's down to 37 of James Sharik starting to work his way forward.
He is at that. But again, your biggest movers right now are both Reed Foley and Tyler Truex, mired back just inside the top 20, as Foley is +6 and Truex is +6, running 18th and 19th respectively.
Trying to work on something here. Just bear with me for just 2 seconds here. As
Scott Formosa and James Sharik still door to door. Give the advantage to Sharik for right now, as here comes Formosa back on the top shelf, not able to really get a good run. Is Sharik has found something I don't think anybody else has right now on that low side. He's figured it out, and he's the first one we've really seen make passes down on that bottom lane so far, as Cole Gadgedoris has problems coming through 2. He just hemorrhaged 3 spots.
yeah, he lost a lot there on that outside line, losing out to Ryan Zunk. Anthony Burleson and Mark McCrary is who he'll slot in behind now. McCrary running in 12th, Gadgedoris in 13th. That's Justin Clapper in the 63, running just behind Cole. And then about a second and a half off of these guys is this battle. That's Chase Leahy in the 34, leading David Hall, Reed Foley, Greg McConey. There's the 69, as you mentioned, of Tyler Truex running there as well. So Greg McConey not finding this place easy. One of the lowest running chasers at the moment.
Well, and coincidentally, unfortunately for Greg, none of the other series that we see him in have ever come here. So one of his first times really seeing this track under anger, as he's right now side by side with Truex, and I believe that's Leahy there. Yes, it is, the 34 of Leahy, as
Reed Foley moving his way up as well, getting under David Hall. Foley up 9 positions up to 15th. This after being involved in that incident back on lap 1, or at least in some way, shape, or form part of it.
Good recovery drive for the one right now, as business starting to pick up around Roger DeBold in 4th, as J.D. Woodward is filling his rearview mirror. A little Chevy on 4 action there.
Just before we switch cameras, Reed Foley trying a late crossover on Matt Garrett. It worked, but boy, did they come close to making contact.
Another coat of paint, they would have been in trouble.
47, as Tony had mentioned, J.D. Woodward right there on Roger DeBolt. That's Vince Burns in front of them.
A very wounded 55.
Yes, it is. He was the reason for the first caution tonight. Daniel Silvestri still up in front, as we have just a couple of laps to go here before we hit the end of stage 1. Again, stage 1 comes to a close on laps 35, and stage 2 comes to a close on lap 70. Ryan Zunk now looking under the 80 of Scott Formosa. Now Mark McCrary looking to get under his Speed Kings teammate. That would be for 10th, and McCrary has the spot.
That's definitely not going to make Formosa happy, as a teammate or not. He definitely wants to be charging towards the front, not losing positions. As McCrary right now +7.
Off the back of McCrary, a little bit of a kiss of the wall down the back straightaway. Just watch how bumpy this is going to be. Well, it's taking the high line. Still has a couple little dips and waves and wows in turn 3 regardless.
Yeah, but it's nowhere near what Formosa was experiencing on the low lane there, coming through 3 and 4. And I think I like what McCreary's doing. He's letting the truck roll through the corner, and using that upper lane to his advantage to not punish the right side tires, because he's not having to turn the steering wheel as much, and he's not having to use the brake as much to get the truck to initiate the rotation.
Chase implications here with this pass. Cole Gadjadoris losing another spot in that 89, losing it to Tyler Truex, who is up another spot as Gadjadoris catches the Thunder Alley wall coming out of turn 2. Right now, your 4 lowest running playoff contenders. Dustin Stallings running in last. Seth Gadjadoris, there he is in the 4, that Chick-fil-A number 4. He's caught the wall as well. Robert Walton and Greg Vial, your 4 lowest running playoff drivers. And if you have a bad performance here like these guys are having, that really puts a lot of emphasis on you needing to practice going into next week's race in the Xfinity cars. Boy, as J.D. Woodward almost catches the wall out of 2 in the Xfinity cars at Road America.
And Woodward had just gotten by Roger DeBold about a lap prior, as DeBold able to catch right back up. And, that speed code number 38, look for him to get it figured out quickly, as Formosa and Burleson were going after each other. Foley and Formosa were going after each other. Foley right now +13, sitting just outside the top 10, looking to play spoiler as he's working the inside of Sharik. Move Sharik back out of the top 10. That is not what he wants to see.
Reed Foley does have 1 win on this season, and that 1 win came at a racetrack where you really needed to conserve tires around sort of an oblong-shaped racetrack, and that would have been at Phoenix in the first trip of the season in the Cup, in the trucks. So Foley does know what it takes to win in these things.
He does at that, as there's the caution for the stage end. So Dan Silvestri, Jake Waltman, Thomas Aaron, J.D. Woodward, Roger DePole, Chuck Chambly, Steven Sharik just edging Chuck out there for the position. Ryan Zunk, Mark McCrary, and Reed Foley, your stage 1 points gatherers.
Racing's so good around here, I completely lost track of what lap we were on. So there is Daniel Silvestri taking another stage win.
And apparently Greg McConey said something that resulted in his chat being disabled.
That's interesting. There's McConey. Oh, it might have been. There was damage. There's damage on that truck right now that was not on it prior. So unless something happened after the caution came out.
Yeah, it's heavy right side damage.
As we'll see Daniel Silvestri make his way into pit road. Roger DeBold, Mark McCrary staying out. Heavy right side damage as well on Jake Waltman, and that would explain why, if you were looking up at the top, Waltman had fallen off by about 1.2 seconds prior to that stage being over. Ton of right side damage on that Doritos number 6.
Going back and looking at it, I don't see where McConey got into the wall.
There's Waltman working on some repairs, so he will fall back. Just 2 drivers deciding to stay out. That would be 38.
Okay, I see it. It was back on lap 34. The 26 of Vial just ran him up into the concrete coming off of 2.
So that might have been where the chat band came in. Roger DeBold gets a lap led.
Mark McCrary getting a lap led.
Now Mark McCrary will get that. Try to take a look back and see what happened there as Greg Vial going for the pass. The 26 of Vial, there he is. There's McConey. Oh, hard contact for the 12. I don't know how much you can, I don't know. I don't know how much you can blame that on Vial. Those two were very close all the way through the corner, and it looked to me at least as if McConey gassed up a little bit too early, which happens very easily around this racetrack.
It does at that, and I would expect to see McCrary come down here as everybody behind them, with the exception of the 21 of David Hall, took 4 in fuel. Hall only taking 2 under this stage brake caution, and it looks like McCrary staying out. So interesting strategy for the 88, but he's doing exactly what I would have said I would have done, and not taking tires. I would have come down for fuel, but he's staying out to have the button here on the restart, and it's going to be a stretch to get it to lap 70. But he's going to be hurting when we go back to green.
But he will have that extra set of tires later. The problem is that extra set of tires doesn't help you if you're in last place.
Right.
Mitigating the damage, I think, is the term. He's hoping for a lot of cautions here in the next 30 laps before we get to the end of stage number 2. Daniel Silvestri will start second here on this restart. Winner of stage 1 in that Sweet Tarts number 97 Toyota Tundra.
This league always makes me hungry with all the food references on these trucks. And you got the Captain Crunch number 23 up there as well.
It is not the paint scheme league of choice for the fluffy person, as Mark McCrary leads off into turn number 1, and there's the tire advantage. Silvestri right around the outside.
One Toyota Tundra goes round the outside, round the outside, round the outside. Thomas Aaron now works the inside in that Shiner Bach number 93. Sweet Tarts and beer, what a combination. That's a good idea.
Mark McCrary falling down to third before lap number 41 is put in the books. He's going to lose a couple more here as J.D. Woodward and Chuck Chambly will make their way around. Reed Foley up into 6th. Now it'll be 5th here in just a moment. on this restart. As the caution comes out, that will be the 25 of Bo Condon backwards down the back straightaway. Second time Condon has been involved in something tonight.
Well, that is no bueno, as unfortunately Condon has not had a lot of luck this season, as there's almost contact behind him between the 06 and the 4.
See what happens here. Down on the inside, the 34. Oh. He might have gotten pushed a little bit there by Jake Waltman. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, let's go see what the eye in the sky picked up.
If that is accurate. There's again. Certainly looks close. Oh, yes, he certainly did get help from the 06 of Waltman.
Did at that as coming off a 2. It was Tag, you're it.
There's the 06 Doritos machine of Jake Waltman. Right now, let's go back up to the front here for just a moment. Tony, I think we might try to bring in our Stage 1 winner here. Tony is with Daniel Silvestri right now.
Oh.
Dan Silvestri, Tony, and Frank up in the booth. Do you have a copy on us, sir?
Yeah, I got you guys. Sorry, I didn't realize I was getting pulled in.
Well, congratulations on the Stage 1 victory. How difficult is this track right now with the hot conditions that we're seeing?
It's actually got a decent amount of grip. You know, the trucks are struggling right now staying off the racetrack, so you need to kind of figure out what lane to be in. But overall, track's pretty good. This has just always been a racetrack where you need to pace yourself and just get in a good rhythm and don't burn the tires off of it.
Which I would assume is incredibly difficult with the bumps going through the middle of the corners.
Yeah, absolutely. I in that last run, I was trying a few different lanes out. I started at the bottom in the first part of the run, kept coming up, and by that last 6 laps, I was up, on the top, trying to just avoid all that stuff. So we'll see. I'm not really sure where I want to be yet, but we're just going to keep pacing out and be there at the end.
Absolutely. As you've got, one of your fiercest rivals all season, Thomas Aaron, right behind you. Do you think you have enough in that Sweet Tarts Toyota Tundra to hold off that Shiner Bock Chevy?
I think so. Thomas has definitely been the guy that seems every time I've been on a racetrack, he's right there with me. So I haven't really seen what he's got yet. I don't think he's seen what I have yet. So we're just going to keep riding here. I think we'll figure out around on that 70-lap Stage 3 run what we got. And we're just going to try to get to the end of the stage and set up for the end.
Well, let me ask you this. How bad were the tires when you took that 4-tire stop during the stage break?
I had 84% on the right front and 88 on the right rear. So
not too bad.
Yeah, definitely had some tire to work with, but did a lot of pacing there in the beginning. Probably a little too much for what we could do, in the next few stages. So I don't know if that pace is going to be able to be kept, but hopefully I can do it here and, just cruise on to the stage win.
All right, Dan, best of luck to you as the lights are going out on the Chevy Silverado Pace Truck, and you're going to have the button one more time. Best of luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Well, there you heard it, Frank.
Rookie mistake that you baited him into. You don't tell what the tire life is on the broadcast. Come on.
I wanted to know.
I know you wanted to know. His answer should have been, that's classified information.
Well, he'll learn. But, the fact that, everybody's got a similar setup in their truck tonight, it's definitely for the best here. But Silvestri going to have the button as the lights are out on the Chevy Silverado Pace Truck.
Yes, they are. As Silvestri will lead away again. Thomas Aaron, Chuck Chambly, J.D. Woodward, Chuck Chambly, pardon me. Mark McCrary still on those tires that he started the race on. And Reed Foley into the 6th position as we get set to go. No restart zone here as that outside line really gets bundled up behind the 93 of Thomas Aaron as the 1 of Foley catches the back of Chuck Chambly.
Chambly was checking up to stay off of Aaron, as right now J.D. Woodward giving Aaron all he can handle going down the back chute.
Still side by side between Chuck Chambly, Mark McCrary in the 8. Chambly's teammate Justin Clapper has gotten back up inside the top 10 after his best finish of the season, finishing third at Richmond last week. Looks up the middle possibly here going into turn one. Had no room for that, good sir.
James Sharik just kept his foot in it as the 23 of Ryan Zunk eats the concrete coming off a 2. Still side by side as McCrary is continuing his backslide as Clapper now gets around him, and he's now falling back into the clutches of Cole Gadjadoris.
Hawkeye Dan, you're welcome to drop in on the channel anytime. Why don't you throw us a sub as well while you're at it, while we're in the festive mood of throwing out subs.
Yes, sir.
23 of Ryan Zunk now battling with the 89 of Cole Gadjadoris. Gadjadoris on the high side. Anthony Burleson behind him. Greg Vial there as well. So is the 69 of Tyler Truex. Another one of the guys that has moved their way up from the back of this field here. A big wiggle out of the 26 of Vial.
Yeah, Vial not having a good time of it right now. But he is up 13, running right there with Tyler Truex as the 79 of Burleson up there as well. Burleson not having a good time of it. He's down 1, but your biggest mover right now is Reed Foley, currently sitting in 5th in the ace.
Up 19 spots right now, trying to defend away from Steven Sharik, using that middle line through 3 and 4. Thomas Aaron under some tight pressure from the 47 of J.D. Woodward. Again, if you're just joining us, this is the first round of the playoffs, first race, in the round of 16. Drivers in the timing and scoring pylon at the top there. Highlighted in gold, those are the 16 drivers that are running for the championship here in Season 2. 2 more races to go in this first round after this week. The Xfinity cars at Road America, and then the Cup cars at Indianapolis before we cut the field down to 12 and head on to, I thought it was the iRacing Super Speedway. No, I was wrong. It's Michigan in these trucks. iRacing Super Speedway the week after that. Then it's Darlington. That's the round of 12. Round of 8 will be the Charlotte Oval, Pocono, and then Nashville Super Speedway. And then the championship race will take place on the 5th day of October in the Cup cars at Texas.
I mean, it's pretty much murderer's row here in the playoffs. If we thought the first 16 races of the season were difficult, everything is getting ramped up here in the playoffs as 16 drivers going to be whittled down to 8 at the end of that first round of Cup. And, you know, that Indianapolis is a hell of a place to have to be cutting heads.
Certainly is, especially in Indianapolis that only had its road course updated because, God forbid, we make the pavement a little bit darker on the actual one.
True.
As J.D. Woodward now looking to the inside of that number 47 of J.D. Woodward. Chuck Chambly holding off Reed Foley. Foley now side by side with Steven Sharik in the 83. Right up to that outside wall goes the 1 of Foley. May have gotten a little bit too high, not able to get that run off the corner the way I'm sure he would have wanted to.
Right about where he is right now is where you really want to be on that upper lane. And you can see just how twitchy Sharik is trying to follow Foley. So Foley using what little experience he may have at this facility to hold Sharik at bay as Stephen and James running nose to tail in 6th and 7th respectively.
3 of Matt Garrett currently running with crash damage from an incident back on lap number 1. There's Dustin Stallings in the 5. He also a part of that first lap incident, leaving him now 18 laps down at the moment. He is the lowest running of the playoff contenders. Jake Waltman running in 24th in the 06 has now just been lapped. Greg McConey in 21st position. Scott Formosa in 20th, just in front of him. Those are the lowest 4 running playoff contenders.
They are at that as Cole Gadjadoris under heavy pressure right now is Anthony Burleson working his inside with the help of the 23 of Vial. Or 26 of Vial, I'm sorry.
It's for the 9th position between these three. Burleson, 11th, not 9th. Burleson in 11th. Gadjadoris and Vial trying to take it away from him. As Matt Garrett now gets passed up. Vial finding himself now in the 12th position. Chuck Chambly still battling with Reed Foley and Steven Sharik. By far and away, the best run we've seen thus far this season out of the 8 of Chuck Chambly. 61-year-old out of Arab, Alabama. Joining mid-season, has only run a handful of races this season. Has Chambly, and is, to be brutally honest, has not fared well in the limited amount of races that he has competed in. This is by far and away the best effort for that number 8 this season.
Well, being as, Chambly's around my age, it's got me by a couple years, but still, he has seen a lot of racing here at the Rock, and, I'm sure, that what he was able to learn watching those races on TV as a younger man are really playing into his advantage right now. And that's the thing. You take a look at the front runners, or the guys that, have been consistently turning solid lap times in the low 25s, Chambly being one of them. Experience, old age and treachery will overcome youth and exuberance any day.
Chuck Chambly running in the 6th position right now. 3 races this season. 30th at the Charlotte Roval, 11th at Vegas, 27th at Richmond. The only race he was running at the end in those 3 was that race at Las Vegas. DNFs in his other 2 starts.
Roger DeBold trying to continue his climb back through the field as he's now working on McCrary, as McCrary still on the original set of tires that he had at the start of the race. And DeBold came down, looks like, for fuel only, possibly 2, under that stage break. DeBold not having a good time of it, but Mark McCrary was leading at the restart, and now not so much.
Down to 17th and 18th, these two are. And again, Roger DeBold came in not on the first lap that pits were open when everyone else came in. He came in on the second lap that pits were open under that stage break, of which we have about 5 laps until we get to the next one. As these guys are not that far away from getting lapped. There is the 21 of David Hall getting passed up. Bo Condon there as well. Now 2 trucks between Thomas Aaron and Daniel Silvestri as Reed Foley looks to the inside of J.D. Woodward. Reed Foley gets to the inside of J.D. Woodward. Reed Foley gets the spot.
Perfect slider line driven by the 1 as Woodward was trying to defend, and Foley just came up and got by him, as now Steven Sharik starting to apply a little bit of pressure to Woodward for 4th. And, Sharik has been known all season as a late run contender. Definitely knows how to save his tires, probably better than just about anybody on this track right now, as Woodward almost gets up into him, coming off of 4 side by side as they're working their way around the lap truck that is the 21.
Sharik really held up there by the 21. 21 not doing anything wrong, just trying to stay out of the way. And unfortunately for him, Sharik found himself in the wrong line, coming now to start lap number 70. Here comes Daniel Silvestri.
Woodward just barely able to hang on there.
Silvestri has been very dominant in the races that he has competed in. The reason why he is not in the playoffs right now, even with the 2 wins, is because he did not compete in the minimum amount of races, showing the threat he would have been if he were in the playoffs. Green and white checkered flag comes out. Daniel Silvestri looking for the sweep.
And there is the caution for stage number 2. Dan Silvestri, Thomas Aaron, Reed Foley, J.D. Woodward, Steven Sharik, Chuck Chambly, James Sharik, Tyler Truex, Justin Clapper, and Ryan Zunk grabbing the last point for the stage. And Trek, I dare say now would be a good time for us to step away and pay a couple bills. What do you think?
I was just about to say it. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. We are just about halfway through race number 1 in the round of 16 for the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, are you tired of your dog dragging in mud into your house? You got water laying in the yard? There's going to be a lot more water laying this spring. Now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342, and we'll be glad to take care of all your outdoor drainage needs.
Oh, you are not, you're not alone, no. Oh, you are not, you're not alone. You're not alone.
Thanks again, guys, for coming out for demo day here at Chaladon and just going over hip start and how it's going to improve your swing. Hip start is really a key factor in getting that proper downswing. The beauty of hip start is you can change your swing in less than an hour. Just put hip start on and you're going to notice a difference right away.
So before I was introduced to the hip start, my shots were kind of all over the place. Using the hip start, I definitely noticed more consistency and getting that great tactile feedback, knowing when the proper moment to snap your hits has really helped with getting my shot a lot more consistent. And I just feel more confident whenever I go out to the golf course with my friends.
Before you even grab a club out of your bag, we're using hip start to warm up. Put it on and get that feel and just fire the hips. Make sure that hip's turning and make sure hips firing through with hip start.
I'm able to hit the ball a lot straighter and a lot farther, and more importantly, consistently hit the ball. What I've seen today, I personally live by and swear by the hip start.
About to begin stage number 3 here for the round of 16, race number 1 for the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series playoffs. The 97 of Daniel Silvestri, repairing some right front damage, will restart 12th, here on this restart. So it'll be Thomas Aaron who has the duty of kicking us off here for stage number 3. Here tonight, just at the halfway point, 75 down, 75 to go. Green flag in the air. Thomas Aaron leading away. Reed Foley gets a great start. Again, no restart zone, up to leader's discretion, and Aaron took full advantage.
Foley took full advantage, as did Tyler Truex, as he moves up into the number 4 spot, side by side with Steven Sharik down the back straightaway. Truex on the low side, Sharik on the top shelf. Justin Clapper up there as well, +9. Your biggest movers, Reed Foley sitting in second, +22. Tyler Truex and Greg Vial sitting 5th and 7th, respectively, both plus 20.
Silvestri was wall riding going into turn 3 there, looking to possibly take it 3 wide, thinks better of it as Burleson slides up into that middle lane. Tyler Truex battling with Steven Sharik in the 83. Sharik really having to pull that truck down. Chuck Chambly battling with Greg Vielle as well in that number 8. Chambly takes the spot. Zunk follows him through. Here comes Silvestri back up to 9th.
Absolutely. Is, you know, a lot of racing going on here as Roger DeBold continues his climb back through the field. Right now working the outside of James Sharik as they come down the front chute again. Very interesting shape of this track, Frank. It's not truly a tri-oval in the strictest sense of the word. It races more like the dogleg at Texas or Charlotte.
It's almost like a half-breed. It's not quite a tri-oval. It's not quite a quad-oval. It's something a little in between. As you see the track map there on the middle right of your screen, that is the driver number that is being displayed. Find your favorite driver's number, and that's where he is on the racetrack. As Daniel Silvestri finds his way around Chuck Chambly. This is the lowest that 8 has been all race long, running now in the 8th position. Thomas Aaron right now in the best position to clinch a spot into the round of 12. Currently in the race lead, Reed Foley 2nd, J.D. Woodward 3rd, Steven Sharik in 4th, Tyler Truex running in 5th.
Chuck Chambly up there in the top 10 as well, running 8th in the 8. You know, both he and Foley would love to play spoilers. Foley pulls alongside of Aaron going into 1. Complete send it. And Foley is your new leader.
Foley has shown a lot of pace here in this race. Now the top 5 all together, covered by a full second from the front end of Foley's number 1 to the back end of Truex's number 69. Running in the top 5 now, Foley, who did not get a qualifying lap in, remember, or at least a competitive one.
He
had to start towards the back.
3-wide situation back in 18th is Formosa, McConey, and Lashinsky all trying to get around the lap truck that is the 21 of David Hall. They finally get that one sorted out as here comes here comes Hall back to the inside of McConey.
Hall looking to the inside. There is a battle between 2 playoff contenders, the 80 of Scott Formosa and the 66 of Robert Walton. Ooh, contact as Formosa really rubbed across the outside of Walton, trying to get that spot, and does successfully. Walton puts it into the backstretch wall. Another thing about this racetrack, concrete wall, does tend to throw you off when you try to peel the car off of it.
Yeah, which is kind of different than what we see at most other tracks here in the server, as McConey and Walton now go door to door. Walton looks like he might have a little bit of right front damage after that contact with Formosa, and it doesn't seem to be affecting him now, as here comes Lashinsky to the inside of McConey. That is your battle for 18th.
All, 2 of the 3 playoff contenders. Lashinsky is not. Again, if you're just joining us, welcome in. First round of the playoffs for the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series. All the drivers in the ticker at the top of the screen that are highlighted in gold are drivers that are running for the championship, as J.D. Woodward battles with Steven Sharik now. This is for 3rd. Woodward trying to hold on to it. Sharik trying to take it.
And Tyler Truex right there as well. As your current leader, Reed Foley, is your biggest mover at plus 23. Tyler Truex sitting back in 5th right there, trying to get by Sharik, is plus 20. So anybody that says you can't pass here at Rockingham, don't believe them, because it is possible. You just got to know what you're doing.
Let's take a ride. Ooh,
that's not how you do it.
You know, that right there, as we're riding on board with Truex there, that is a mistake that I can't tell you how many times I've made. Just that lazy mistake of just letting the car drift out a little bit too long, a little bit too far. catching that wall, giving yourself some damage that there's no other reason you should have had. Let's just take a lap here really quick, just to see this racetrack and just how bumpy this place can be. Thank you to Ryan Truex, Tyler Truex, pardon me, for being our unknowing participant in that ride along there.
Unfortunately, Ryan's not here this week.
Yeah, no, Ryan is not here, and that leads into a very good point. This series, it may seem a little cruel, but it is a way to make sure that drivers who are running for the championship and who are serious about winning the championship are here every single week that the championship is being run for. Justin White, the series official, put out a reminder again earlier today: if a driver is eligible for the playoffs, misses a race, and does not notify the series, they will be penalized 15 points. Drivers who make the playoffs are required to make all playoff races. If an emergency arises, it happens. Just let us know to avoid that 15-point penalty. And yes, that is a rule in this series. So wanting the participation of the drivers who need to be here is on a high priority for this series.
And the thing you got to remember about the series too is it's pretty much a self-funded league. 90% of all the money that goes to this league comes out of Justin Clapper's pocket. So thank you, Justin, for all that you've done for the league. Justin White up in the control tower.
Contact Clapper into the wall on the outside. He came door to door with Chuck Chambly in the 8. We stay green as both drivers were able to stay straight, but just as you were thanking Justin Clapper, he now has damage.
He does at that through no doing of his own. As now Anthony Burleson gets by him.
See this? Here it comes down the back straightaway.
Bonk.
Yep. Chambly came up a little bit too much. Clapper came down a little bit too much. And that's how that happens.
And Clapper right now, with that damage, is hemorrhaging spots as Chase Leahy drops him down to 14th. And you see the damage on the right side of Leahy's truck, but Clapper completely cheese grated the right side of that Recon number 63. So that's a rough one, as the battle for third still hot and heavy as Truex just sends it going into one on Woodward.
2 of the first 3 drivers currently running in this race are not playoff contenders. 4 of the top 10 are not playoff contenders. The first of those playoff drivers is Thomas Aaron in the number 93. Currently running in second, not that far at all behind Reed Foley. There's the one right in front of him.
Absolutely, as Daniel Silvestri continues his climb back through the field after pitting under that last caution to get some damage repair. Now gets back into the number 5 position as he's gotten by Steven Sharik. Now sets his sights on trying to reel in J.D. Woodward and Tyler Truex.
Silvestri running in the 5th position, restarted back in the 11th spot. Did that number 97. Field really spread out here. Steven Leszczynski now about to take a position away from Justin Clapper. That would be for the 17th and 18th spot. Clapper not taking it, not going down quietly. Throws a little bit of a block on that 99.
And Lachinski has caught the wall somewhere as well because he didn't have that right side damage last time we saw him.
I would have to assume turn 2. J.D. Woodward side by side now with Daniel Silvestri for 4th. Silvestri looking for the sweep here tonight. Won stages 1 and 2. Fairly uncontested. Not completely, but fairly.
And you know both he and Reed Foley both want to try to play spoiler here as Cole Gadjadoris getting down and out of the way of this lead pack.
Gadjadoris might have caught the wall coming out of turn 4. As he was really slow off the corner and just pulled a hard left to get well away from these guys.
Didn't want to be in the racing line, so very sportsmanship activity there as battle for the lead. Aaron and Foley going after each other again.
Goes Thomas Aaron into the braking zone down in turn number 1. Reed Foley has the outside line, has the pace advantage, has the momentum, able to keep it side by side at least for the moment. Foley able to use that momentum to take the race lead, and this is old Rockingham for you. That outside line now, you're starting to see it really come into play.
Absolutely, as we are in the last, inside the last 50 laps of this piece. Reed Foley, Thomas Aaron, Tyler Truex, Daniel Silvestri, J.D. Woodward, Steven Sharik, Chuck Chambly, Ryan Zunk, Mark McCrary, and Roger DeBold rounding out your top 10 as we currently sit. But that battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th is hot and heavy right now, with McCrary having it. DeBold wants it. And Ryan Zunk up there as well in the 23.
There is the 88 of Mark McCrary on the outside line. Roger DeBold, caution is out. I think it's the 63 of Clapper. Oh, they're still wrecking in the back. Thomas Aaron just spun. So did Reed Foley out of the race lead in second.
Oh.
Aaron knows the wall on the inside. Reed Foley gets away. At least the front end of that truck is unscathed. The back end, though, has a depression in it. Thomas Aaron, we saw him hit the wall on the inside. As Justin Clapper had gone around, and then it was the 2 race leaders, and wouldn't you know who's up in front now? Daniel Silvestri in the 97.
Well, if you take a look up there as well, Condon and Walton got into it. Waltman got into it.
We got a couple of incidents here. This is the 63 of Clapper. This is what brought out the caution. Clapper and Stallings making contact coming out of turn 2, and then behind them, there's Reed Foley, there's Condon and Waltman, and that's, boy, Thomas Aaron. That's a tough break for Thomas Aaron because he put the brakes on, and so did Reed Foley, because the 25 and the 06 were coming back across the middle of the racetrack.
Yeah, they were at that, unfortunately, and you know, everybody trying to scatter to not get into that mess. And we have a Waffle House situation with trucks scattered, smothered, and covered all over the racetrack.
It looked a little awkward there as you see Waltman. Boy, I'm not sure about that incident going into turn 1. Between the 06 and the 25, we'll try to take a better look at it here. As there's Waltman. May have gone back way too far here. Let's try it right around here. Here's the 06 of Waltman. There's the 25 of Condon. Condon about to go a lap down. Waltman, who has not had a good race, runs over the 25. I'm not sure if the 25 just, I don't know if I'm seeing things or, that certainly looked like a, there's a little bit more extracurricular activity than was needed there.
Yeah, that was definitely shades of Matt Kenseth and Joey Logano.
Let's go from above here. Get a little bit better view at it. There's the 06. No, I think I might be seeing things, but there's the incident between.
Oh, you're not seeing things. That's
Aaron
exactly
Foley.
there was extracurriculars there.
So again, here this is from overhead with what happened with the 93. They're just trying to stop because they're coming back down the track, and unfortunately for them, just in the way.
And Jake Waltman has decided to say screw it and just put the truck on the hauler.
So that is the first of the playoff drivers out of this race. Bobby Grant was the first official retirement in the 14. Again, for those of you who are wondering where the 904 is of Michael Grant, still serving a suspension for stopping the car on the racetrack to cause a caution back at Homestead 3 weeks ago. This is the second race of his 2-race suspension. He should be back next week for Road America, where he will still be under a 5-race probation from there. So you should see the 904 back on the racetrack next week. As Tony, we're getting set to go back.
We are at that. Sylvester going to have the button one more time as J.D. Woodward going to be restarting outside. Tyler Truex, Reed Foley, and Daniel Silvestri, all three of those drivers trying to play spoiler here tonight and steal the race win to put the pressure on the rest of the playoff contenders.
J.D. Woodward, the first now of the playoff contenders, out in front. Reed Foley putting the bumper to him, leaves that 47 of J.D. Woodward on the outside. Boy, Steven Sharik really closed out that 23 of Ryan Zunk. Zunk gets the inside going into 3, looking for 5th.
Zunk looking to climb through the field as here comes McCrary to his inside, looking into turn number 1. As Foley and Woodward have now switched lanes. Foley now on the top line, Woodward down on the bottom, and Foley's going to wrestle third away from Woodward.
Top 3
and here comes Sharik.
Top 3 drivers are not playoff contenders. Silvestri, Truex, and Foley. Silvestri and Foley falling under the same category of did not make enough races, even though they had a win, to make the playoffs. As Foley now getting maybe a little bit of a bump there from that 47, as J.D. Woodward moves into 3rd.
Woodward battles back to try to get back towards the front of this piece. Would love to go into next week knowing that...
Not close to that outside wall, didn't he?
Yeah, a little bit. Another coat of paint, he probably would have been in trouble. As right now, Sharik giving Foley all he can handle. Foley using the apron to try to get that truck to turn. Now, everybody did come down on lap 106 or 107 to try to get services done on those vehicles, and everybody took a set of tires at least. So...
What would have been their final set. As there's Roger DeBolt in the top 10.
I was going to say, except for the 88, McCrary still has a set laying on the wall.
Possibly the 38 of DeBolt as well. As Chuck Chambly running now in 11th, passing the 38 of DeBolt. Reed Foley still battling side by side with Steven Sharik. Sharik this time tries the outside. Can't get the run into the corner, but the run out of the corner is what you're looking for. He can't get that either. Now it's Mark McCrary looking to the inside of him as Ryan Zunk pokes out, possibly looking to take advantage.
As he pokes out, James Sharik able to reel him in. That Sharik on the top shelf. Both Shariks on the top shelf. McCrary and Zunk both on the low lane. As now Steven Sharik goes right back to Reed Foley as James Sharik is going to pick off Zunk and move into 7th.
It is the 37 of James Sharik, 23-year-old out of Shelby, North Carolina. Home race for him, as it would be for much of the field here tonight.
And for those of you who are going to be at Michigan this coming week, I do know that there's going to be a group from the Sim Racing Media Network, parent network to the Esports Broadcasting Network, that are going to be making an appearance there. Probably going to be shooting some footage during the race, doing some live check-ins and whatnot. You can find all that on the Sim Racing Media Facebook page. That's Sim Racing Media on Facebook. Again, parent company to ESPN. And Frank, I don't want to give away too much, but we do have some special things in store for next week at Road America.
Well, we hope to, at least, if we can figure out a way to get it done. Is Greg McConey, we know he will be at Michigan. Much like a lot of the guys that are running in this series will be here, will be at Michigan this upcoming weekend. I know Justin Clapper will be working on the 38 Xfinity team.
Both the Shariks will be there.
Yep.
I believe Ryan Zunk checked in saying he was going to be there.
All working this weekend. These drivers will be.
As you do.
As James Sharik.
Bobby Grant going to be there with the O2 car. Pit stall 33 if you're interested in shaking hands with some of the drivers from this series.
Possibly pit stall 33, depending upon qualifying.
Yeah.
Sharik and McCrary battling side by side here for 6th. That's James Sharik in the 37.
Getting back to what we were talking about before that last caution came out, this league funded a lot out of pocket from Justin Clapper, and the drivers do pay to enter the league, and that goes towards the end of the season points fund. But the broadcasts and the race sessions are put up out of Justin Clapper's pocket. So if you would like to get involved as a sponsor to this series for the remainder of this season, upcoming next season, the commercial breaks that we take could be yours. Just contact Justin Clapper on his Facebook, and he can get you pointed in the right direction. If you would like to be a race sponsor, series sponsor, restart zone sponsor, a lot of options available out there for sponsorships here in the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing series.
Absolutely. Is Reed Foley still trying to maintain his 4th position? Then Steven Sharik in the 83 behind him. Meanwhile, another close battle. Boy, fanning out Chuck Chambly. Boy, that's close between Chambly and the 63 of Clapper. Again, those two triggered that last caution as, boy, feelings running hot as there goes the 63 into the fence. The 79 gets caught up in it. So does Chuck Chambly. Caution is out.
I don't want to tell tales, but that looked like a receipt.
There was no questioning that. As Chambly was on Clapper the entire way through 3 and 4. Chambly tried to get around on the front straightaway, came back down the racetrack, and then came back up going into the corner. And I think possibly Clapper might be sat on the naughty step here, unless he's just repairing the car. So here is what happened. Again, between Justin Clapper, there you see the 8 trying to get by. Tries again there, and then Clapper just runs it straight up the racetrack, and unfortunately for poor Anthony Burleson, he was caught up in the middle of that. See it again here. This is going to be coming out of turn 4. Again, prior to this, that 63 held that 8 all the way through. And there's the 63 and the 8 going for it again. So Justin Clapper sitting in pit road trying to repair damage to that truck. Again, only 2 drivers are out of this race officially. Just Bobby Grant, who is not a playoff contender, and Jake Waltman, who is. Cole and Seth Gadjadouris both come down pit road here as well, trying to repair damage on their cars.
Oh my goodness.
That was nice.
I just saw what was posted in the live chat in Sim. One of the drivers saying, money, guns, and lawyers to the hauler.
Matt Garrett, who's had a mare of an evening, started in turn 1 on the first lap. Greg McConey's had problems today. Bo Condon's 25 also in shot. So we've had a couple of moments here tonight.
Yeah, we have it. That is, you know, with as hot as this track is right now, it has cooled off since qualifying. It's down to 116 degrees as the sun continues to set in the sky about 3:30 in the afternoon here, 3:45 in the afternoon in sim time. The track temperature now down to 116 degrees. So grip levels starting to come back up, but temperatures continue to rise inside the trucks.
Absolutely. As there you see the weather conditions on the screen. There it goes. I hope you guys like racing at Michigan, because we're going to be there quite a bit here this upcoming weekend. The Monsters of Speed New Gen Cup Series will be at Daytona coming up on Friday night. That will be the season opener for them. The Super Late Model Series will run Crown Jewel race number 3 on the season, overall race number 11. That will be at Bristol this Saturday night. And then the next 3 races will be in Brooklyn, Michigan at the Michigan International Speedway. ISNF Cup Series at 4:50. Sunday night NASCAR at 8:20. CleanRacing.net Truck Series on Monday at 8:20. So a lot of racing at MIS
and then
coming up.
The Gunner 4SR Racing League will be back on Wednesday, on Tuesday.
4 races on Tuesday this week.
4 races on Tuesday as they go to Michigan as well.
So a lot of racing at that 2-mile oval. As here we go, Daniel Silvestri holds them down. Green flag back in the air. 32 laps to go here at Rockingham.
And Frank, we did forget to mention that on this coming Thursday night, tomorrow night actually, we will be airing the final race of the John Beerline Memorial King of Dirt series with the 410 wing sprint cars from Knoxville. So the final race of that series getting ready to head on off. And, want to give a shout out to everybody that has helped support that series to happen. You can find that tomorrow night at roughly 9:35 Eastern time on the Sim Racing Media YouTube page or Facebook page. Sorry.
5 races last night. That race being one of them. As Silvestri currently leading, Tyler Truex in second, J.D. Woodward running in third, Reed Foley fourth, Steven Sharik will round out the top 5. Just J.D. Woodward and Steven Sharik right now, your playoff runners in the top 5 positions, as Ryan Zunk trying to get around Greg Vielle. Vielle, if you remember, put down 2 qualifying laps but could not get a clean one to register. So started at the back of the field, running in 7th right now at 2 wins during the regular season, did Vielle. At Talladega, I believe, and Vegas,
yes.
I know.
You are correct, sir. And Silvestri's in. Silvestri comes in. He couldn't make it on fuel.
That's an interesting turn of events. So with 18 laps to go, Daniel Silvestri has had an issue. Oh, well, he caught that ball.
Yes, he did.
Oh, no, it's a drive-through penalty for him.
Interesting.
I think that's too far out to be speeding on exit, but he's going to come back out in the same track position that he had prior to coming in to serve the drive-through.
Now only a lap down.
Tony, if you wouldn't mind trying to figure out what that penalty was, that would be appreciated, as Greg Vielle looks to the inside of Mark McCrary. I was wrong. It was a win at Dover and a win at Vegas. this season for Vielle. Oh, that's right. That was Seth Gajdoris that won at Talladega.
And that pass-through was for jumping the start.
All right, so go on green. Did not go on green. There goes Vielle looking to the inside of James Sharik. Now that would be for 6th. Mark McCrary has worked his way up to 5th. That's Seth Gajdoris slow on the bottom in his Chick-fil-A number 4. Boy, he's had a mare of a day. Thomas Aaron looking to try to recover as much as he possibly can after being caught up as collateral in the incident between the 25 and the 06. Going right on the back end of Greg Vielle going into turn 3.
And he's got Roger DeBold all over him from behind us. We're now 3 wide going into turn number 1. Good grief.
Keep the brakes on. DeBold trying to come through as well.
Sharik on the
contact.
top.
There goes the 37 around. 38 goes into the inside wall. DeBold hits it hard. Caution comes out as James Sharik spins down the backstretch.
Well, that was a sticky wicket.
That's what happens when you go 3 wide race. And again, we talked about it at Richmond a lot last weekend. We talked about it here today. That backstretch wall comes up on you in a hurry. And that is exactly what happened right there. As we'll take a look. James Sharik, unfortunately, the one caught on the outside. As there's the 26 of Vielle. Just ran out of room with the 93 under him. Once again, a bit different of an angle there as, boy, that 38 side slammed the wall hard on the inside. Down the older pit road here at North Carolina. There is Roger DeBold. And we'll restart this race with about 9 or 8 laps to go. Tyler Truex in the lead, as there goes Seth Gajdoris getting a lap back in the 4. Playoff contender.
Unfortunately, Seth currently 3 laps down.
First of the drivers not on the lead lap, and the only driver on his current lap. So Gajdoris can go no higher or no lower than 21st unless he were to stop right now.
Roger DeBold, Cole Gajdoris, and Steven Lashinsky all still on pit road trying to get some damage repaired. Lashinsky starting to roll it now, as DeBold and Gajdoris both still up on the jacks.
Still only 2 retirements in this race. Jake Waltman and Bobby Grant in the 14. Bottom 4 playoff contenders right now. Jake Waltman, Dustin Stallings, whose night really ended before it started. Seth Gajdoris and Roger DeBold, your bottom 4 as far as playoff contenders right now. Again, I know it's late, but if you are just joining us, thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. First round of the playoffs, drivers highlighted in gold at the top are your 16 playoff contenders here this season. Drivers in black looking for the title of best of the rest.
They are at that. And you know, there's definitely 2 guys up in the top 3 right now that would love to play spoiler. Tyler Truex, after unfortunately missing the playoffs, and Reed Foley missing a ton of the season, would both like to steal one and put the pressure on the rest of the playoff contenders going into next week at Road America.
Only 2 drivers in the top 10 that are not playoff contenders. Bottom line, first and second row, Tyler Truex and Reed Foley. Truex looking for his first win of the year. J.D. Woodward looking for his first win of the year. Foley looking for his second, winner at Phoenix, round 2 of the season. Mark McCrary looking for his first.
Now, Tyler Truex does have a win on the season. The only thing is he didn't have the participation points or participation markers to get him into the playoffs. Looking to show the rest of this field exactly what he was missing.
Not have a win. His highest,
not in the trucks.
His highest finish was second at Martinsville. Tyler Truex. As we come out of turn number 4, green flag about to go. That inside line really checking up. Outside line as well. After seeing Silvestri get caught for jumping the start, green flag back in the air, and the caution comes out again.
Looks like Clapper and Garrett getting into it again.
It's the 34 of Leahy, Chase Leahy. 21 of David Hall, James Sharik, Greg Vielle. There's Sharik's 37. Vielle torn up.
Oh my!
We'll see it here right now. We'll go to the blimp. See what happened on this restart. Chase Leahy in the 34, really checking up in front. Boy, Silvestri gets hit hard, and it just looked like everyone checked up. And everyone was so close to each other on that restart that it all just kind of kicked off.
Yeah, it did at that, but I dare say that started with Thomas Aaron.
I would believe it, because they were all beating and banging off each other. There's the 37 getting turned into the wall by Chuck Chambly. This 97 of Daniel Silvestri was 3 wide before they got to the line.
Okay, so that started with Reed Foley spinning the tires and getting up into the 88 of Mark McCrary. Thomas Aaron checked up to try to stay off of him. Got nerfed by the 26 and then bounced off that concrete just past the flag stand. Down the track he went, and all hell broke loose.
We saw how crazy that restart was. And again, we'll highlight Thomas Aaron here in the 93. Formosa beating and banging, and just it all just Constantine it up. So
and you really got a feel for Chase Leahy right now, as he had absolutely nowhere to go and just caught a race car to the teeth.
So did pretty much everybody else in that. Again, I want to ride on board here with this restart. By the 97 of Daniel Silvestri. Riding on board again, you see how everyone's all bunched up, accordioning into each other. Well, he may not have passed Anthony Burleson on the inside coming to the line, but he was certainly even with him.
It wasn't for lack of trying, that's for sure.
Not sure if that would be considered a lane change or what the scenario was. He started on the inside there, but either way.
Yeah, but I thought they had the rule that you weren't allowed to move at all, changing lanes in any way, shape, or form before the start-finish line. Well then, looks like we might be getting a natural green-white checker to finish this thing off.
Well, it depends here, because Woodward's on the outside right now. We'll see what the lights say. No, we're going to get
green, white checker.
Green, white checkered, exactly.
So Tyler Truex, J.D. Woodward, Reed Foley, Mark McCrary, Stephen Sharik, Scott Formosa, Greg McConey, the highest we've seen him yet tonight, Ryan Zunk, Robert Walton, and Thomas Aaron going to restart inside the top 10 here. And I got to think that right now the advantage is going to go to Foley, as he's going to be able to gauge Truex better than Woodward is going to.
And I can't help but feel that that restart there and how jumbled up that restart was caused by the penalty that Daniel Silvestri took for jumping the start, because it was all backed up right up until the point where the session went green again. And
yeah,
that
everybody
wasn't
minding their
the
P's
case
and Q's.
earlier. Yeah. So here we go. 3 laps to go. Green, white checkered here at Rockingham. Green flag back in the air. A lot cleaner of a restart. Tyler Truex gets the run, and a big block by J.D. Woodward going into turn 1 to maintain second. But here comes Mark McCrary on the outside.
Can't block both lanes at the same time as McCrary moves to the outside. Woodward down on the low lane, going to send it going into 3 as here comes McCrary on the top shelf. Woodward pinching up. McCrary with run. It's going to bring Reed Foley with him as Foley now pulls side by side with Woodward, relegating him back to 4th.
Foley trying to get back on the podium, as he will do. Daniel Silvestri up into 8th, having a little bit of connection issues. There's Scott Formosa as well, running in the 5th position, Tony.
Formosa up there. McConey finally getting it sort of figured out as Formosa now works the outside of Woodward. Woodward pinches him up going into 1 and kills all the momentum of Formosa. White flag in the air.
Coming back, there was the pass. Oh, big contact between Reed Foley and Tyler Truex. That leaves Mark McCrary out in front. McCrary made the pass going into turn 1 to take the race lead, and now will lock himself into the round of 12.
Around goes McConey.
Mark McCrary wins here at Rockingham, clinches himself into the round of 12 as mayhem behind him.
A lot of unhappy drivers after the checkers flew there. They were 4 wide coming to the checkers.
We'll get a look at it here in just a moment, but Mark McCrary picked one heck of a time to get his first win of the season in that 88. Again, locks himself in to the round of 12. McCrary, Woodward, Formosa, Speed Kings, 2 of the top 3 drivers.
I think that's the first time this season we've had that from those guys.
McCrary came home in 2nd last week, and this week does exactly what he needs to do. Before we get to the interviews, let's take a look at that final lap. Again, going back to the pass, here is the pass by McCrary. Gets the run coming out of turn 4. Well, that would have been a classic Rockingham finish there. Gets it clear. Tyler Truex pushing up, coming off of turn 4. Reed Foley slow on the outside. There goes Woodward through the middle. Truex comes back up the racetrack. There you are, 4 wide. Truex, McConey goes around. He's the one that ends up on the south end of it. What a wild, wild finish here at Rockingham.
And that's the type of finish we expect to see at Rockingham too, you know, side by side battling till the checkered flag flies. And we saw no shortage of hard-nosed racing coming to the checkers.
Oh, absolutely. As we'll now get the interviews going, is Tony, I believe you are with our race winner, Mark McCrary, right now.
Mark McCrary taking the pressure off himself. You just moved into the round of 12 in a couple of weeks. How relieved are you right now to not have to worry about the next 2 weeks?
It's like I told y'all last week. I thought you were really going to have to win to keep on advancing. Me and Scott, we tried to do a little bit of a tire strategy, and I thought for sure it wasn't going to work out at the end of it, but it obviously paid off.
Absolutely. Speed Kings putting 2 cars on the podium this week here at The Rock. How much does it mean to win here to you, knowing that there's so much history at this track? and it's very underutilized in the iRacing servers.
Yeah, it is. I haven't run this track except for today, and honestly, probably about a year and a half. But it's a real fun track. It's kind of like the old style racing, and so it's pretty cool. We finally get a win. It's always been joking around saying I've been the bridesmaid, but never the bride. So it's good to finally get a win.
Absolutely. First win on the season here in the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series. After pointing your way into the playoffs, we go next week into what is definitely going to be a wild card race as we take on the treacherous turns of Road America. Your thoughts going into Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin next week?
I enjoy road course racing, so I look forward to it. That race is also sponsored by Chandler's Car Connection, so try to put on a good show for them to represent the sponsor, and just try to run hard.
Absolutely. Mark McCrary, again, congratulations on winning here at Rockingham. Who do you need to thank for your victory here at the Rock?
I got to thank Alan Marshall, Speed Kings, and Scott Formosa, and Chuck Chanley for teammates. Scott and I both did that little strategy, and we both put our heads together, and it worked out. So we definitely got a big thanks to Speed Kings and obviously Chandler Car Connection. Thank you.
All right, Mark McCrary, congratulations on winning here. Rockingham, North Carolina. We'll see you next week in Wisconsin.
Thanks, guys.
And Frank, I believe you've got second place with you now.
I do. J.D. Woodward, a solid, hard-fought second place for you here tonight. Just what was your race like here tonight?
It was a really good race. I started practicing here yesterday evening and kind of reminded me a little bit of Dover, and I'd been there. I was pretty good there earlier, and it was a good afternoon and crazy kind of last lap there. But second, I'll take second. I would love to have had the win, but second's pretty good too.
Just talk us through that last lap, because on that restart, you'd fallen back to fourth, and then everything that happened there with the 69 and the 1, and you were just able to sneak through the middle. What did you see from your perspective there on that last lap?
Truex or Tyler, he was down at the bottom, and the one car, he was getting a little bit of run, and just I think that's racing there on the last lap. You're not wanting to lift, and they both went in the wall, and luckily I was able to split them. They didn't hit me and go on to grab second. But just really wanted to get that win. But Mark had a little bit fresher tires, and that made the difference there at the end, especially in those last two restarts we had.
Now we head in the Xfinity cars. We're watching your finish again. We'll head to the Xfinity cars next week at Road America in the Xfinity cars again. What are your thoughts going into that road course race next week for the second race of this round?
Yeah, looking forward to it a lot. Road America is a very fun road course, and I'm glad that they're in the Xfinity car. They're a handful to drive, but they're fun to drive also. And look forward to going up there and racing at Road America next Wednesday night.
Anyone else you want to thank before we let you go?
Just thank all the viewers. Thank everyone who puts this lead together, and y'all for calling the race.
All right, your second place finisher tonight, J.D. Woodward. Bud, congratulations.
Thank you.
And with that, we will now go to our third place finisher. Tony is with Scott Formosa.
Scott Formosa, all things considered, can't be too disappointed with a podium finish here in the opening round of the playoffs. Talk us through how your race went.
Well, it went well. I mean, I felt like I didn't have a real fast car all night, but strategy really paid off. Me and Mark McCrary, we talked about it, that we were not going to pit the first two segments. If we could make it to lap 70 and stay on the lead lap, we were going to be in good shape, I believe. And I did go a lap down and got the lucky dog, thank goodness. And that's what we had an extra set of tires in the pits, and that's what paid off at the end.
It absolutely did. Pit strategy playing a big key factor here tonight. Having that late set of tires. Talk us through how bad the tire wear was.
Oh, it was terrible. My truck was pushing all night long. I felt like I barely had a top 15 car straight up, but I just battled and battled, and I knew we had to pull something out of the hat strategy wise to pull this off, and I'm happy with a third. I'm glad my teammate won, and boy, it was wild out there. A lot of people upset. I kept my nose clean all night long though, stayed out of trouble.
You did it. That avoided a lot of the big melees. But next week we go to a completely different animal and up to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, to take on Road America in the Xfinity car. What's your thoughts going into next week?
Never been there. I'm gonna have to do a lot of testing between now and then, and that is not one of my favorite road courses. Is not my favorite, but I'm gonna try my hardest. I'm gonna do some testing and just see if I could manage a top 10. That's what I'm trying to go for.
Absolutely. But Scott, again, congratulations on a podium here in the opening round of the playoffs. Who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate with your team?
First off, I got to thank Alan Marshall. He believed in me and put me in this car this year. And my teammate, Mark McCrary, we help each other a whole lot. And Chuck Chamberlain came on board with us late. I got to thank NOS Speed Prep, www.nospeedprep.com. They're on this truck. And if you ever need any speed prep for like go-kart racing and stuff like that, man, that's the guy to go see. He's got the best stuff out there. And thank you guys. Thank everybody in the league. I appreciate you. And I want to say a prayer to Buddy Arrington. He was a NASCAR driver back in the 60s and 70s. He's passed away today. And I just wanted to have a shout out to him.
One of the greatest engine builders of all time in the NASCAR divisions. Thoughts and prayers definitely going out to the entire Arrington family. But again, thank you so much for providing some really good action, Scott. And we will see you next week at Road America.
Okay, thank you guys a lot. Appreciate it.
Well, Frank, we got another one in the books, my friend.
We absolutely do at that. And again, just an incredible evening of racing here all night long. Battles all the way through the field, up and down. And Speed Kings, we see you in the chat there. First, third, and 11th tonight for the Speed Kings team, with all three of their cars running in the top 10 consistently here all night long tonight. An incredible opening salvo for that team in the playoffs here. And for a guy like maybe Mark McCrary, well, definitely Mark McCrary, he can maybe afford to have a little bit of an off week or to have a mistake at Road America now, where the other drivers, especially the guys who finished as the bottom four, say a Dustin Stallings or a Jake Waltman, they really cannot afford that in these next 2 weeks.
No, they absolutely can't. And, we heard our race winner, McCrary, say it last week, and he reiterated those thoughts this week. If you're going to want to compete for the championship going into that final race, you're going to have to win. It's, the only way you're going to move on guaranteed is to win. And right now there are a lot of hungry wolves in this series that would love nothing more than to get a race win. And next week is going to be very difficult at the treacherous Road America. A lot of places to get it wrong there, but if you get it right, it's so rewarding.
It's hungry, and I think the more apt word, especially after some of the incidents that we saw tonight, they're hungry and hangry.
True
coming
story.
up here the rest of the way for this season. Only 2 more races to go, not just in the round of 16. Again, Road America next week and then Indianapolis in 2 weeks' time, but only 2 more races to go in the Truck Championship overall. That championship will wrap up on the 14th of September at Charlotte. Only Michigan and Charlotte to go in this truck series. So that championship also is going to be coming down to the wire. The top 2 drivers in the championship, one having a bad night, the other one not being here at all.
Definitely throwing a monkey wrench into the works in that truck championship. But the overall championship.
Still just as close.
Sorry. Just don't ask. The overall championship really tightening up now with your top three all being championship contenders, Reed Foley and Daniel Silvestri and Tyler Truex for that, finishing 4th through 6th, playing huge spoilers as Thomas Aaron was relegated back to 8th after that late race caution.
Well, and with that, we'll now start to wrap up and head on home here. Tonight's finishing order, Mark McCrary comes away with his first win of the season and locks himself into the round of 12 with the victory. J.D. Woodward, Scott Formosa, your podium finishers here tonight. Reed Foley and Daniel Silvestri round out the top 5. Tyler Truex, Ryan Zunk, Thomas Aaron, Robert Walton, and James Sharik coming home in top 10 finishing positions. Chuck Chambly, Chase Leahy, Greg McConey, Steven Sharik, and Anthony Burleson round out the top 15.
Cole Gadgedoris and Greg Vial being scored in 16th and 17th. Roger DeBold, Stephen Lachinsky is your last two drivers to be scored on the lead lap in 18th and 19th. 20th going to Seth Gadgedoris, David Hall in 21st. Vince Burns, Justin Clapper, Matt Garrett, Dustin Stallings coming home into your top 25. Bo Condon, Jake Waltman, and Bobby Grant round out your field of 28 here tonight from The Rock.
And so that will do it for us here tonight from Rockingham, North Carolina. Round number 1 of the playoffs is in the books. Coming up here tomorrow night will be that, Tony, you go for it again.
The John Beerline King of the Dirt Memorial Series race finale in the 410 sprint cars, winged sprints at Knoxville. Final race of that series, and the late John Beerline, a big member of the dirt community here in iRacing. His son winning last night in the 360 USAC sprints at Kokomo.
Well, there you go. It's a family affair, as racing tends to be. Then on Friday will be the Monsters of Speed's New Gen Cup Series season opener at Daytona, a 9:10 p.m., not a.m., 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time start. On Saturday will be round number 11 of the Super Late Model AI Series from Bristol, race number 3 of the Crown Jewel 4 for that series. Again, a couple of great races put on in North Carolina over these last couple of weeks at Concord and at Charlotte last week. Bristol is going to be one you're not going to want to miss, an 8 p.m. Eastern Time premiere for that series. Then, again, hope you like racing at Michigan, because you're going to be seeing a lot of it. Twice on Sunday, the ISNF Cup Series and the Sunday Night NASCAR Series will be at Michigan, 4:50. There's the dyslexia kicking in. 4:50 p.m. Eastern Time for the ISNF Cup Series, and then 8:20 for Sunday Night NASCAR. CleanRacing.net Truck Series will come to you on Monday, also from Michigan, at 8:20. So for my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening, and we will see you all next week for race number 2 in the round of 16 in the Xfinity cars at Road America. Good night, everybody.